This is Joel A. Erickson, Colts insider for the Indy Star. I'm here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Colts outlast the Cardinals today, 31-27. They get a big stop. This is a weird day. This was a very strange day right from the beginning. Anthony Richardson essentially has an equipment malfunction, from what we understand, with resistance bands in the locker room, and suffers an orbital fracture. He had to go to the hospital, had to get x-rayed. It's unclear at this point how much time he's going to miss, and you could tell that it rattled Shane Steichen. They also lost Charvarius Ward, the number one corner, to a concussion and a freak collision with Drew Ogletree in the first half, or in warm-ups. They didn't have him, but on top of that, the Richardson injury sounds to be fairly serious, considering there's an orbital fracture. And right now, all Steichen could say after the game was, as it stands right now, Riley Leonard is the backup. Now, will he be the backup going forward? I don't know. It's depends on when Richardson's available again. Will he go on injured reserve, which would require him to miss a minimum of 4 weeks? Probably depends on if his fracture requires surgery. We don't know that yet. There's a lot of questions about what's going to happen with Anthony Richardson going forward. And if they don't have him, there's a chance they might need to go out and get a backup. There's a chance they might need to go out and get a veteran backup. Daniel Jones has not been hit much this season, but one hit is all it takes to make you lose your starting quarterback. Riley Leonard looked good in the preseason. He's still a rookie, undrafted rookie, or a sixth-round pick rookie who has never played in the NFL before. So do you want to set him going in the game in that situation? It's a freak accident, something that you really could never have seen coming, but it creates some very interesting questions for the Colts as the trade deadline approaches. For the Indy Star, I'm Joel A. Erickson.
Yeah, just a blessing first. Got to thank God for the victory, but similar to the Broncos game, just being able to finish late and defense get a stop, offense score when it matters. You got to be built for games like that, because later in the season there's going to be a lot more games like that when it matters. So it was a good testament to the team today.
Talk about scoring when it matters. You have been so reliable, in particular in those third down situations. How good was it to get a touchdown of your own for the first time this season?
Oh, it was great. I was very excited. The guys were excited too. We got a great offense, a lot of great players: Tyler, Pitt, AP, Ashton, AD, and then you got best back in the league with JT. So when you get your opportunities, you just got to take advantage of it.
For you guys to stay perfect at home, this environment, how much confidence did you have in your defense to close it out?
Yeah, I knew they were going to step up. They did. When it mattered, they got to stop in the red zone, and they allowed us to go out there and finish the game, put the ball in our best players' hands, and they got a first down and close it out.
There have been so many different guys who have taken advantage of opportunities, so many guys who scored.
I am, Reg.
How excited was Reggie for you to get back in the end zone today?
Reggie's a great coach. He's always, even when we do good, he's still like, you need to do this better. So we had came off the field and he was like, you need to run. Like, we had ran a couple plays before. He's like, you got to run this route better. And I was like, appreciate that. But Reggie, great coach. He was excited for us.
Can you take me through the emotion after the touchdown, the celebration, and then the reaction on the sideline? Because everybody was coming over to hype you up.
Yeah, I got hit, so I was a little sore, but then I kind of like faked it. And JT was like, bro, you good? And then I started dancing, and JT was like, oh, snap. So it was cool.
For Daniel Jones to be able to spread the ball around this offense, it seems like each and every guy has been so selfless. Mm-hmm. What does that say about your offense, where everyone's so patient to wait for the right opportunity and then capitalize on it when it comes?
Yeah, great teams. You got to have a lot of players that can make plays, and Daniel does make sure like he gets everybody involved, and he's really like he makes that very important to himself. He comes up to us all the time like, you good? Like, I'm coming to you. So he does a great job of that. And like I said, when you have a lot of good players, when your time comes, you do got to cash in.
Josh, speaking of Daniel, that chemistry that you've had with him the last couple of weeks in particular, how is that growing?
Just great quarterback, makes it easy on me, and then coaches putting us in great positions. God coming through, allowing those opportunities to flourish.
Guys like Tyler Warren, does that open things up for you a little bit on the field?
Oh yeah, now he was already established, but now he's like, teams are really like preparing for him like a lot. So it helps us, and then we help him. They got to play everything straight up.
You guys are 5-1, sitting alone, top of the AFC South. Just what can you say about this team winning in different ways these first 6 weeks, and just through 6 weeks in the season? What are you feeling?
Yeah, just the work we put in the off season, and then the work we put in every week. Showing today, coach doing a great job, keeping us disciplined, keeping us motivated. It's showing.
I know there's a sense of relief getting that first touchdown. You're a team first guy, but how cool is that to get that one out of the way this season?
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited to get in the end zone. I want to get many more.
I was going to say, when there's such an efficient offense and there's so many people scoring, what does it mean to be able to get back in the mix and be able to just really be a part of that?
Yeah, it's great. Just being involved. My role is like just making big plays on third down, but got in the end zone today, and I was happy.
Mekhi Blackmon made a huge play for this defense. Describe for me that play, the momentum that it helped.
That definitely was a momentum, game-changing play because I think we just gave the ball back to them, gave the ball back to their offense, and he just made a play on defense. He threw it right to him and turnover. That was big.
He's made a couple big plays so far. What can you say about, in particular, this secondary, the way guys have stepped up because you guys have been so tested with availability of this personnel?
I think it's the way we prepare. Our preparation puts us in position to make these plays on Sunday. The coaches put us in position to make these plays on Sunday. And just being consistent, like I think everybody in the DB room is very consistent on what they put on tape. And it just playing out for us.
On that final Arizona drive, it was the loudest this stadium has been all day. Can you tell me and just describe the impact of these fans to help this team be perfect so far on the season at home?
Man, I love the fans. We love the fans. We love when they loud because they give the quarterback a little confusion. He don't know what's going on. He can't make the checks. And it just played in our favor. It just boosted us up on defense a little bit more.
Last one for me. You guys have won so many games in decisive, dominant fashion. How important was it for you guys to pull out a game like this that was so back and forth? It was truly a dogfight until the final second.
It's important, like, to win these type of games, like especially these close-knit games, because every Sunday it's hard to win. So just pulling out this win, it was big for our team, and I think we needed that.
This Cardinals offense, when you guys did most, you made a stop. What does that say about this defense?
Just keep going. We just keep going. Like, no matter what type of plays the offense made, we don't put our head down. Next play mentality. So I think that was big for us today.
Have you ever been part of a game like this where a starter goes down in pregame?
Not really. That was crazy right there. But I know the people that was behind the starters, we always prepare. Like I said, our preparation is what keeps us going, and I think we filled in pretty well.
Better question, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm on tour right now, so I can't feel much. So I think tomorrow I'm going to feel it.
Kwity, with Arizona having the opportunity late, you know how tough of a guy Jacoby Brissett is to bring down.
Yeah.
Take me through the opportunity that you saw to get pressure on him when your team needed it most.
You know, honestly, I feel like he saw Buck the most, and he kind of stopped in his tracks, and I was just retreating, just, you know, applying pressure, and I was able to grab the sack.
With the opportunity to close it out, how eager was this defense to prove what you guys can do to close out this football game?
You know, we wish we had a better game, but, you know, it all came down to that last moment, and we just said, hey, let's go up here and let's have a stop. So, yeah.
Inside 2 minutes, I don't think that it had been louder all day than what you've got. Describe for me the fans, this environment to keep you perfect at home.
Yeah, no, big shout out to our fans, you know, coming out, showing out, and I feel like they really, you know, played a part in that last drive, you know, to apply all that noise and, you know, just to give us some juice to go out there and make a stop.
Your defense has been so tested, injuries, availability of guys. How do you describe the effort in particular from your secondary, guys like Chris Lammons to make a stop at the end, Mekhi Blackmon coming up huge with that interception that resulted in a touchdown for y'all?
Yeah, you know, just next man up. You know, we had a guy go down earlier today, and, you know, we just, you know, spoke about, you know, next man up and came in, played well. Mekhi had a big takeaway, you know, just going out there and just playing good ball.
When this team has won so many games in dominant fashion, how important was it for you guys to be able to win one kind of, for lack of a better description, an ugly kind of situation?
Yeah, I mean, like, we knew they were a good team. You know, all of their losses were legit one-score games, last 2 minutes of the game. So, you know, we just knew that this wasn't a team to be overlooked, even though that they were down a quarterback and down a couple of guys. So, you know, we just had to go in with the same mentality of last week and just go out there and get a win any way we can.
In these situations where you guys have had backs against the wall, what have you guys proven?
You know that we can fight. You know, it's going to be a dog fight all 4 quarters, and we're not going to go away.
How nice was it? I know offensively Josh Downs gets in the end zone. You see the work day in and day out that he puts in. How cool was that to see his first one of the year?
Man, it was just great. You know, he's a baller. You know, it's great to have him on our team. You know, seeing him mismatch with the linebackers or whatever, you know, just out there doing his thing. You know, it's just great to see him play good ball.
5-1 through 6 weeks, won in different ways. Like, what's the vibe of this team? You're sitting alone atop the AFC South.
Yeah, you know, just, you know, prep all the way through the week. You know, Lou says it's going to be prep all the way through Sunday, you know, not just all the way through Friday. So, you know, just coming in every single day, trying to get better 1% every single day and just play some good ball.
Yeah, it's been good. I think we played really well as offense, and then to finish out in the 4-minute situation and end the game with the ball is, you know, one of the best things, offense can do in that situation. So it was awesome to kind of end the game like that and do what we do in practice in the game and execute it correctly.
This is an afternoon that was so physical. How much confidence did you have in your defense to close it out when you needed the most?
Yeah, I mean, they've been making plays all day and all year, really. So it was, exciting to watch them out there. And we had their back, and they had our back throughout the game. So it was awesome.
You guys are now perfect at home. How important was it for this team, after having so many dominant victories over the course of the season, to kind of win one in this fashion?
Yeah, I think it's however they come week to week is going to be, how the wins go, and we'll take them either way. But yeah, that was a good team, and it came down to the last play, really, so it was awesome.
All the guys who got involved within this offense, who were integral in making plays, integral in scoring touchdowns for this offense, how would you describe the selflessness in particular of this offense?
Yeah, I think it's when you have as many people as we do on our offense that can make plays, you kind of got to have guys that are selfless, and I think we have that all over the place, and it starts with the linemen and the skill guys, and Daniel spreading the ball around to everybody, so it's been awesome.
I joked with Shane earlier this week. I asked if he just dreams up new ways to use you week in and week out, and he kind of laughed. He said, absolutely. He described you as a Swiss Army knife because of all the different things you can do. How much do you embrace that ability and the fact your head coach can rely on you in that fashion?
Yeah, it's fun, and I think that's what's fun about playing tight end is you get to do a little bit of everything, and I just kind of look at it as my job from play to play and make sure I'm doing it the best I can, when the plays get called like that.
Tyler, I know we ask you this every single week, but your comfort level, finding the end zone again, how does that keep growing week in and week out?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to practice and getting the reps and trusting the guys around me and making sure they can trust me and proving that to them each week, so it's been good.
One of those guys, Josh Downs, found the end zone for the first time this year. How happy were you to see that, and just what's the impact he's had on you?
Yeah, he's awesome. I think for our offense, he does, opens up a lot and he can do a lot of different things. And I was, it's surprising that he hadn't gotten in the end zone right because he's such a good player. But I was happy to see him get in there, and that was a big play in the heat of the game and the situation we're in. So that was awesome.
Chris had good coverage on it, but knowing that that's their guy and he's the best player on their offense, so I think that quarterback, no matter what, he's going to go to him. So obviously we got to keep all our eyes on him, and Chris had really good coverage on that to make it force an incompletion, and we got off the field, fourth down. No matter what, we're happy.
And what perspective on the just defensive performance at large today?
Wasn't good enough. Simple and plain. There's a lot of plays that we left out there, little small details, or letting checkdowns go for too many yards and get first downs off of that. And like I said, it just wasn't good enough. But for us to escape it with the win, that's a positive thing. But at the end of the day, on Monday, we're going to get right back to work and fix those mistakes. And it's a good thing when you win a game, but you don't have your best game on defense. It's humbling. So we know that we got a lot of work to do. We have a good team that we're going to be able to play next week. Another opportunity to see where we stand with another really good team in this league.
Cam? There with the Mooney situation happened, and just how crazy was that to start this game?
Yeah, I was still out there on the field, so I didn't see the collision. But for whatever happened, I just saw him on the floor, and I just felt bad for him. Like, simple and plain. Like, I didn't know exactly what happened, but it was scary just seeing one of my brothers go down like that and not be able to play. So I'm just praying that he's okay.
Shane said like he needed you as leaders and he as well to regroup and everybody refocus. What did that look like?
Yeah, just down in and down out, knowing who's on the field and how I can help, whether it's a play call, whether it's a formation, just those little conversations that you have in the huddle, or as the offense is lining up, being able to say what to expect. I just think the leadership there just goes by just talking and removing any confusion and making them feel confident that, okay, my safety knows what I'm doing. I know that he knows that I know that he knows what I'm doing. Like, we had a double, triple check every single little thing. And that's how it is when you're playing with younger guys that haven't had as much playing time. You want to make them feel confident, and if they know what they're doing, then they can play confident.
Can you find a way to win without your best stuff? What do you think that says about just the group that you have, and obviously like what you're still reaching for?
Yeah, like you said, it wasn't our best game at all, but we found a way to win, and especially with a lot of guys out, next man up is always going to be the most real phrase in the NFL because everybody has to be prepared to play. So being able to do what we did and escape the game with the win, really ugly game for us, especially speaking on defense, but to have a full team performance and offense go down and score like they did when we needed them to score, Makai getting an interception, us getting a red zone stop on the last play of the game, like all that goes to show our potential, but we can't play with it like that as far as getting down to letting them get to the red zone it coming down to the last play. We don't want to have to play that type of football, but now we know that we can if we have to.
First, I'll start with injuries. AR got an eye. He got an orbital eye fracture in pregame warm-up doing band works. And then Mooney Ward suffered a concussion in pregame warm-up. Overall, the game, though, I thought our guys were resilient for 4 quarters. Obviously found a way there at the end, getting the 4-down stop there in the red zone, but a lot of back and forth. Credit to Arizona. That's a hell of a football team over there. Offense, defense, special teams. It was great back and forth, but I just like the way our guys came out and found a way to finish it there at the end.
2 pregame injuries. What are you thinking as you're starting out? What are you thinking after that?
It was very interesting, to say the least. It was. We had to kind of rally the troops there in the locker room and get us back into focus. And I thought our guys did that the right way, and just obviously hope AR's good and Mooney's good. It was just trying to get the guys back on focus.
Shane said he had an orbital fracture. Did he have to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of timeline that normally is?
I don't know.
Shane, what can you say about some of the throws that Daniel was making down the stretch of that game, that drive to take a lead?
It was huge. We had a couple of them. We had one with a little double move to downs, and they went to a cloud, and he was talking about all week, hey, if they go to this coverage, I might snap around and rip this in cut there. And sure enough, he saw it pre-snap. He flipped, and he hit Alec right there on the end, which was a huge play to set up that touchdown drive. So he made, like I said, he made some big-time throws. I thought the guys all did a hell of a job, especially the O-line protecting, and Warren obviously had a big game. Downs had a big game. It was good. And then JT ran hard like he always does. And to finish it in a 4-minute situation with the ball in our hands and taking a victory knee there was awesome.
Will Riley Leonard be your backup in the future?
Yeah, right now he is. Right now, yeah.
At the end of the first half, during a little time left, a couple of timeouts, what was your thought process going on?
Well, they had all the time, and they were going to make it the last shot themselves. So we thought, hey, when we get to a goal-to-go situation, we're going to have to start using them here so we can get, so we have some time left, if we have to go down and, if they would have scored.
Shane, with the, I don't know how you balance when you've got so many TVs out. So you're giving up a lot of plays that you could, but then you got untested guys, I guess, making plays. Do you walk away saying they made a play when they had to?
Yeah, heck yeah. I thought those guys did make a play when they had to, and obviously you got some young guys out there that are learning on the job, and I thought they competed their tail off. There wasn't any lack of compete in any of those guys. They were relentless, and like I said, when we needed it there at the end, we came up big.
That 3rd and 8 down by the goal line to Josh, what allowed that play to be successful?
Just it was him one-on-one with the backer inside there, and we just had a little shake route on him and trying to cross face right there, and he did a hell of a job, creating the space right there. Great throw by Daniel to get that first down in that situation.
Shane, had some games lately where your offense has been playing with leads, but to have to go get it in the 4th quarter like that, was it demonstrate? And did you kind of need some of that?
Yeah, no doubt. That's this league. You know what I mean? A lot of this league is what happened today. It's the back and forth, and I thought our guys, handled it well on the sidelines, and we knew it was going to be a back and forth game as we started getting going. And it was great, to see the offense there at the end go down and get that touchdown and go up 31-27 there to take the lead. So credit to the guys. I thought Jimbo did a hell of a job all week with the preparation. There were some things in the red zone. That first touchdown to Tyler Warren, he was looking at the tape, and he was like, dude, this thing's going to hit. And I was looking at him like, heck yeah, it is. And so hell of a scheme by him putting that play in. It was a little shallow route. It was awesome.
Shane, how resilient was Daniel's performance just in the middle there? I know that's a tough defense to read, and it felt like they made him maybe hitch a little bit for a couple drives, and then the last 2 drives.
Yeah, I think obviously he was in rhythm there. That first drive, it was awesome, and then we had the 2 3-and-outs there, and then even on that boot where they intercepted it, I thought it was a hell of a play by number 2. We were all on the headset saying over, and he jumped up and said, oh, holy crap, that was a hell of a play by that guy. But then obviously, he got into rhythm. I thought he played in rhythm all game. What was he, 22 of 30 again? Great stats. And obviously, when we needed there at the end on that last touchdown drive, he went down and led our team down there.
You kind of know. Are there any emotional swings with him ever? Because he just seems like he's like this all the time.
Yeah, he's pretty calm. I think he's got laser focus. He's locked in. I think it's his preparation, a lot of you guys have heard me say that, but his preparation that he puts in during the week, like when you're prepared like the way he does, right, you don't blink. Like you go out and you have confidence in your ability because you put in the work like he does. And when you put in the work like that and you go execute like he's been doing and the guys are making plays around him and the O-line's blocking, it's fun as a coach to watch.
You know about Jonathan and just the way that he transforms his coverages and everything. For Daniel to go what he did today, 22-30, put up 31 points, what does that say about him, just being able to diagnose that kind of a defense?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of preparation like there is every week, but there was a lot of conversations in that QB room. I mean, Saturday night quarterback meeting, we're in there, and he's like, hey, let's pull up Carolina clip 42 and pull up Carolina clip 38. Let's look at these looks and just make sure, hey, are we good on this? Am I boom, boom, boom? Do you want me to check out it? I mean, he's all over it. That's the preparation, and that's what you want at that position.
Shane, 6 catches for 42 yards doesn't seem like the biggest day in the world, but that Josh's stat line doesn't really reflect the kind of game that he had. Being able to make these big plays in these big moments, what does it say about the kind of player that he is?
Yeah, I think he's got a great feel for the game. Obviously, the touchdown there, we had him on a little crossing route there in the back of the end zone, and Daniel did a great job delivering the football there. And then obviously some of those third downs that he created, that one we just talked about, was huge. But great hands, great feel for the game, and then his yards after catch are great, just making guys miss and in space. Great player.
The touchdown run from Daniel, was that a design run, or was it just like, hey, you're out here, let's just get it?
It was a roll pass deal. So we had JT in the flat if we had him, and if they match it up, you keep it and run it in. And so it was a great job by him scoring there.
That game-winning drive, just what is it like to see that kind of come together after up and down day like that?
Yeah, good to see, for sure. We've had games play out different ways, this season, and this one, we knew it was going to be a competitive game. They're a good football team and a good defense over there. So, it came down to the fourth quarter, and good to see us be able to execute in that situation, go down and score, and then great stop by the defense there at the end.
Daniel, you mentioned earlier this week that this is an unconventional defense, a little bit with their looks and stuff. What led you to trust everything so much on the last 2 drives?
I think you still try to see it and recognize what they're playing and where the spots are in certain coverages, and there's traditional parts about it, and there's some unique stuff they do too. So you try to recognize it and still play fast, play with conviction, and throw it with conviction. So try to do that. Our guys made some big time plays.
Was there anything different you had to do to prepare for this, even leading up to the night before, or was it just kind of the same as you've done in weeks past?
I think the process is largely the same, and kind of how you go about it. I think some of the communication and how you're communicating the wideouts or preparing yourself to get through certain reads, and some of that preparation is unique, as it is with any team, and kind of dependent on what you're going up against that week.
Daniel, with complementary football, would you rather have the ball in your hands to win it, or after doing that, have to rely on your defense?
Well, I think you always want the ball in your hands with a chance to win the game. I think that's what we all prepare for and want, especially as a quarterback. You want the ball in your hands to go down and win it, for sure. But I'm not going to complain if the defense stops them and we get a first down and kneel on it. That's true, yeah. But
Shane's talked a lot about your work habits this season. I wonder how that's evolved over your career. Is it more than it was earlier in your career? Have you learned to do it different ways? How has that evolved?
I think you just get better at it and more efficient with it. I think I've always spent a lot of time with it. I don't really do too much besides this stuff, so it's always been like that. But I think you get better at what's important or what's key in this situation, or what's critical that we communicate this week, or what's critical that the wideout knows this certain look and have an answer for that. And then communication with Shane, in the same way, is if we get a certain look, I'm thinking this, what are you thinking, and making sure we're on the same page that way. So I think I think the time and effort has been consistent, but you get better at it. You get more efficient in what exactly you're doing and how you're spending your time.
You say you don't do a whole lot else. Like, has it always been like that? Like, when did it start to become like, I mean, outside hobbies? Like, I bet you had none during the season.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of guys. Yeah. I don't think a lot of guys during the season, have a ton of hobbies. I mean, that's just the nature of it, kind of the way it works in this business. But yeah, I've pretty much always been that way during the season.
Going back to that, you on like the Fits and Wits podcast recently. You mentioned how much you learned when you were in Minnesota. How did that kind of help just your process overall, seeing those guys work, and you're very complimentary of those guys?
Yeah, I think just the level of detail that they operated under. I think. Just so specific about, what looks we're getting this week, where's the answer, how do we recognize it, how do we walk through it, how do we prepare to see it, having quick answers on what if this happens, what if that happens. I mean, all the situations that could come up in a game, they were, KO, Grant, Josh, and then Sam, and all the quarterbacks were constantly quizzing each other and checking and making sure that they're ready to go for whatever the defense could do.
Shane talked just now about how before the game you have to kind of try to get everybody refocused. A lot happened with Anthony and Mooney and so forth. What was that like? I mean, that's not your everyday situation, obviously.
Yeah, it was kind of a whirlwind. I was out on the field when I heard about Anthony, obviously thinking about him and hoping he recovers well. Kind of a freak situation there, but I think obviously you're concerned for your teammates, Mooney as well, and hoping they're all right. But you understand there's a job to do, and you gotta go out and play and get ready to go.
Feels like in a lot of third down, gotta have it situations. You've looked toward Josh. What has he done to earn your trust in those spots?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just a really smart football player, someone who's gonna make the right decision, feel the space, and get there. And I think we have a lot of guys who do that. So Josh has come up big in a lot of those situations, but I have a lot of trust and confidence in all our guys in those situations.
Daniel, you guys have had dominant wins, but for this one to come down in the fourth quarter and come out on top against a really good defense like Arizona, what does that say about where this team is at, skill-wise, and just looking forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, resilient. I think that obviously the game went back and forth. It wasn't the cleanest the whole time, and we certainly made some mistakes here and there. And playing against a good team that's going to, force you to execute and play well. I thought just mentally the fact we were able to kind of come down and execute down the stretch and make sure we were at our best when we needed to be. I think that goes a long way. So the skill, you asked about the skill. I think we're very confident in our ability and who we have on the field, and good to see us, kind of stay resilient, mentally in that situation.
Can you take us to the interception? Were you just a little surprised the linebacker was able to get up that high?
Yeah. I mean, I think thought I could get it over him to Mo on that play, and he made a great play. I go back and look at it and make sure I'm taking care of the ball.